Hello, everyone. Welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown. We're going to take a look at every single board game campaign finishing up in the next week. And man, oh man, do I need to look at some rulebooks right now because I feel like I need a smoke from those episodes of My Hero Academia. God dang, that's a dang friggin' good show. If I'm ever to get a tattoo, I think I'm getting a tattoo of Lemillion and his juicy peaches. Oh, I love it. Before we begin, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons. Thank you so much. Just everybody. No new patrons this week, so you all get the glory. You all don't have to rebel and punish the new person, but you all get to revel. And let me just say, like, y'all are the friggin' best community. I keep saying that all the time. I really appreciate it. Oh, and I need to email somebody back. Okay. But yeah, I really appreciate it. You're all the friggin' best. And thanks for being here. And the rest of you, well, thanks for being here as well. Let's get into the week, starting off for my patrons, my delightful, darling dears. We're looking at Hyve, because I never forget a campaign. I just delay it to give it, to really heighten the suspense and the intrigue of what's going down. And my patrons wanted me to look at this, so I'm looking at it. We've got Hyve, a colorful beehive simulator. Lead your colony from thriving to surviving, or the other way around. Now, with all 20 stretch goals unlocked, come and be a late backer and join the Hyve. Yeah, this is open for late backing. Kickstarter does that now, which it wants to take money away from GameFound, so of course it does that now. And you can fund this if you want. I'm going to take a look at it and see what's up. Well, that video tells you nothing, but you get to color some hexagons, so there you go. Hyve is a decision-rich print-and-play game for 1 to 2 players with just some dice, colored pencils, or markers. Hey, you could do it with marker if you're a psycho, if you want your Crayolas to bleed through all over your beautiful table. With just some dice, colored pencil, or markers, and a sheet of paper, you have all you need to manage your colony. Okay, let's learn how to read today. Today is the first day. The episode 155 is when Chris learns to read. Manage your population, choose your actions wisely, and take your colony from merely surviving to thriving. It won't be easy. The Hyve never is. Changing of the season bring harsh penalties. Starvation always looms as your colony comes to life. So does the player sheet, as it fills with color throughout the game, leaving you with a nice little displayable art piece when you're finished. Yes, because we are going to hang every single one of our roll and writes on the wall. That's what I've been doing for centuries, officer. I'm not Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. I just really like roll and writes. That's why the walls are plastered with paper. It's because I can't bear not to put my beautiful treasures on display. Your colony's HP is a dice. You select a unique color to represent each dice from 1 to 5. 6s are wild. Okay, roll dice equal to your population. Max 10. Rolled dice represent your worker bees. They're eager to work. Easier difficulty allows you to roll up to your total population, but requires more dice. Decide which actions you'd like to take by assigning which bees to the action spaces. You can go to the bee bakery, so you can support your population, so you can feed yourselves. You can tend the eggs, tend the larvae. Cool, so they get you more population depending upon its adjacency rules. The queen's attendants populate a royal jelly with the color of the bee place to connect one of the 4 sub-options from top to bottom. This feels nice. This feels very robust in terms of what all the different numbers do. I like that you're going to be rolling a ton of numbers too, and like coloring them all in. And when you fill up the royal jelly, you're sort of assigning what numbers can go there. Finally, you can gather nectar. I see. So your HP can get pretty high up. When a hive is finished, one of these sections, these 6 sections, you have 6 hives. For each nectar color, determine how many filled hexes are not adjacent to any other color. That's tough. I'm sure there's an optimal solution for that. Oh, cool. And you have to feed the bees based upon which numbers they are. So your food is relative to the number themselves. That's kind of neat. Oh, and you keep on going around migrating. If your population ever hits 0, you lose the game. You have to migrate. Here you select what seasonal effect you want to incur. This marks the passage of time. How to win. Reach the thriving space with your HP marker. Fill all 6 hives. Survive 1 year. All 16 turns. How to lose. Your HP marker enters colony collapse. Your population drops to 0. Yeah, this seems fun. I like the moving parts of it. I like that there are so many options, right? I think in a roll and write, that's what makes it exciting, is that there are so many options. And for only $5, you can get it, or you can get an all-in pledge for $9, $13 Canadian, and you can print them out yourself. So if you're a fan of roll and writes, thanks, Aaron, for putting that on my radar. I think it does look really cool. That's done, but you can go back it. So try that out. If you are a fan of roll and writes, I was thinking about skipping this, but it looks okay. You can try Lepra, the game about the plague. Endure the devastating pestilence and save your town from the medieval plague pandemic. It's another roll and write print and play where you are going to navigate this quarter, this grid, essentially, where you'll be placing houses down on these different, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see an outline of different locations. You're going to go to those locations to get resources so you can make a cure to the plague, but the plague will continually strike, and if it strikes houses that it's already stricken, it will sort of expand outwards. And so it starts out slow, and then it will slowly chain together, and you need to make a plague before the darkness overcomes you. You need to make a potion, not a plague. Don't make that plague. No, I take it back. Don't make the plague. Make the potion. Make the potion. Make the pancetta for the plague, please. That's how it's pronounced, I think. Pancetta? Yeah. Delicious. If you're ever feeling sick, just try pancetta. Nom, 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 nom. So you're going to roll 4d6 dice, used in 2 pairs. One pair determines the X coordinates, while others determine the Y coordinates. And then you also get to put numbers on the harbor or the workshops or the church shops. The church shops, protecting you from leprosy. Yeah, it doesn't look bad as well. I'm not a huge print and play sort of guy. I barely play the games that I have in the boxes already. But I think that there definitely is a market, and I could see it being pretty relaxing. I think Hyve would be more exciting to me mechanically for sure, just with the amount of dice that you are rolling. But here, that's kind of a little efficiency, push your luck. That finishes Wednesday, September 18th at 5:06 a.m. Moving along to the Quest Kids, Realms of the Kingdom, in the largest campaign page I've ever seen in my entire life. The acclaimed fantasy board game for young heroes 5 years old and up returns with a new expansion. I've heard good things about Quest Kids. I feel like Tom Vassel's talked about them before. So yeah, let's check it out and see if it appeals to me, having just had my 5th birthday. All right. Speaking of Tom Vassell, just took a quick break to talk about WSBG scheduling, which next week. Yeah, next week. Oh, God. Oh, no. No, 2 weeks from now. I don't know. The 21st. The 21st to the 26th. If you want to tune into Dice Tower, I will be behind the camera pushing buttons like an ape and hoping that the cameras don't fail and that we can see kind of what's going on with the games. But let's talk about this. Quest Kids. I remember this. I remember this from its commercial because it sounds like a punch to the nostalgia bone. In the G.I. Joe My Little Pony foolery is this? You're going to move onto a space, you're going to flip something over, and you're going to see if you can battle it. You're getting stars, and it's the person with the most stars wins, but the trick here is that some of the big bad nasty monsters are going to be too powerful for you, and you need to use the power of friendship and cooperation to punch it out with somebody else around the table. But I do like that it is a competitive game, which I kind of expect it's going to be cooperative, but it's competitive. And then they're coming out with a new expansion, The Realms of the Kingdom, which just gives you an additional player and some additional portals and gems and some new realms, some new maps, essentially. 56 total new dungeon tiles. I do love that the rulebook is right here for you to peruse, and it's only 11 pages. Just kidding, 22. But yeah, it's sort of pushing your luck, deciding if you take the green tiles, which are easy, and the red tiles, which are scary. Seems like a pretty simple, nice thing to play with your children. It is likely out in retail right now, though, since it has been in existence before, and so I don't know if you need to pay the $72, $98 Canadian to get it when it is in stock at Board Game Bliss and on sale for $52 Canadian. You know what I mean? But if you want all the new stuff and the new zippity zams, well, there you go. What's shipping going to be like? Shipping's $13, $18 to the US. 30 to Canada, right? Just get it from your local store if you're interested. Just because it's on Kickstarter doesn't mean you have to get it now. If you're interested, that finishes Wednesday, September 18th at 9:25 a.m. We're going to keep on moving back over to GameFound with the Fisherman. Captain Mako, a veteran of the seas, stood at the helm of his fishing boat, the Invincible, as a storm raged around him. The waves rose like menacing giants, lashing the ship with relentless fury. The wind howled like a hunting wolf, but Mako did not waver. His eyes were fixed on the horizon, where he knew the perfect catch awaited him, hidden in the tumultuous depths. Welcome to the Fisherman, the board game that puts you in command of a deep-sea fishing boat ready to sail on charted waters in search of the perfect catch. It's like the perfect storm, but Matthew McConaughey, I would assume. That's the perfect catch. You want the perfect catch? I think it's the perfect match, right? Isn't that Matthew McConaughey? We're going to assume it is. Let's see what the perfect catch is like, though. And if it comes with a Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McMinnie May. 1 to 4 players. Capture the most coveted unknown species while trying to return safely to port. Well, it worked for the hunger. You create your own vessel as you would in a role-playing game. The reference values for the vessel are created, essential items are loaded onto the board, such as defibrillators, distress flares, life buoys, and weapons for self-defense. Then you set sail, there's 4 zones, dice rolls determine events. You can apply strategies to use in the game. I would hope so. Through dice rolls, you determine if you catch a fish. Just seems like a lot of dice rolling that they're referencing it a bunch. Oh, yuck. I mean, it's just a big push your luck game, basically focusing on the dice rolling as well, and then seeing what you need to roll to get it. Shipping is €15. The game is already €60, so 92 Canadian. It just doesn't seem that interesting to me, unfortunately. It seems like there is more focus on the luck aspect than there is on necessarily the strategy aspect. While there are different cards that are going to pop up, I think that's just a little bit too much randomness. Pour moi. But if it's not pour toi, well, if you're interested, that finishes on the 19th at 4 a.m. Moving along to Winter Rabbit, a semi-cooperative game set in the world of Cherokee animal stories. Okay, cool. This is also for my patrons because they wanted me to check this out. Moon Bunny is next week. It'll be in next week's one. It's not in its last week yet. For those patrons who were asking. But I will cover it. Unless I forget. I won't forget. I like the premise. The premise seems fun. That you are putting workers face down. You want to raise resources for your own town. But the Winter Rabbit can just steal all those resources. I always take umbrage with the use of semi-co-op where it's just one person who wins. It's not semi-cooperative if it's one person who wins. Just because everyone can lose, it doesn't really feel like it's cooperative. Just because you're working together and using each other doesn't necessarily mean it's cooperative if only one player wins. And that's what they said, so I'm going to assume that it's that. Love the art, though. All right, here's the gameplay. While competing to provide the most for your people. Yeah, that's the... Okay, we're gonna forget about that because we're gonna keep getting distracted and annoyed. You draw a villager from the bag. It might be yours or an opponent's or a rabbit. Aha. Ooh, I like that. I like that you are drawing it from the bag. I was expecting you to have your own sort of selection of different workers and the rabbit and get to choose when you steal or not. You know what you drew, but no one else does. Place the villager face down on the board. When enough spaces are filled, reveal the villager tokens. As long as there isn't a rabbit, everyone collects resources. If your villager is there, you get bonus resources. Oh, and you get bonus resources if you're the one to trigger the collection, I assume. As long as there isn't a rabbit, everyone collects resources, even if you're not there. Oh, okay. So there we go. Because these people aren't there, everyone's going to get the resources. You that were there twice, +1. Okay, got it. If the rabbit is revealed, then the resources are stolen and must be recovered later. In midday, choose one action, place another villager, build your village, complete communal tasks, spend your resources to build your village. Villager cards are award points, provide powerful effects. The land can become damaged as well. That's sweet. In the evening, tell stories that give you points and benefit everyone in the village. Or swap out a resource for something more useful from the supply. So you have the chance, again, to have that decision to support yourself. At the end of 4 seasons, if the storehouse is full, then you've prepared for winter, and the player with the most points wins. If the village isn't prepared, then everyone loses together. Right? Not semi-co-op. just you can all lose. There's only one winner. You can all lose. If there can be multiple winners, then I agree it's semi-co-op. That's my distinction point. I really love the art on this, though. It's by an indigenous artist, which is sweet. Okay, you can only hold 6 resources. Then the excess are going to go to the rabbit burrow. I'm interested to see why you can only hold 6 resources. Oh, you can complete 1 or more tasks played by other players. So they're really pushing this cooperative nature of a game. And I always find that it's a bit tough with that co-op, because if there's only one winner, why would I ever do something that benefits you more than it benefits me? That's essentially not fulfilling my own win condition, right? Yeah, when do you put it into the storehouse, though? That's the question. So the resources that the rabbit takes goes into the rabbit's burrow, and then if you put a rabbit in there, they all disappear, and you have to pay the rabbit. So it's pretty dangerous just to go, because I was thinking, all right, well, I just automatically always put myself in the rabbit burrow, because the rabbit will end up stealing something. But somebody else might put a rabbit there to make sure that you don't get anything, and you've wasted your valuable placement. You're going to have a balance of clearing and restoring the land. You'll have these trees that will flow back and forth, which also seems potentially interesting in terms of it taking up spaces in your inventory and then going back out onto the board to potentially trigger other resource generation elements. Yeah, it seems interesting, definitely. 59 US, 81 Canadian. Sustainability options. North America is going to be 15. Again, it's like another $100, another $100 game for me. Rest of Canada, 25, yeah. So for me, it's $84 US, which is like $110 Canadian. I think it seems interesting. I would happily play it. I am skeptical as to the flow and the king-making opportunities here. And so I think you might hit up against the design of them wanting to be a co-op but still being competitive, but that might actually work. So I'm not sure about this one. I think the art looks really neat, though. It's nice to support Indigenous artists, especially after stealing all of their land and murdering their people. So yeah, if you're interested, that finishes Thursday, September 19th at 8:58 a.m. Next up, we've got Northwest. Embark on an enchanting journey through the lush forests of the Pacific Northwest in this cube placement game for 2 to 4 players. Sure. Well, this is visually very appealing. You're going to chuck up all these dice, put them on this grid, and then move this person around to take dice so that you match symbols on your own grid. Right? I assume. And there's something kind of satisfying to me about moving these cubes and seeing the passage sort of crumble before your eyes. That's neat. And it's only $30 too, 41 Canadian. That makes sense. Yeah, that feels a very fair price. The next player's movement pattern will be determined by what you could collect, so kind of Onitama-like. You'll start in the northwest corner, but subsequent turns may place next to any already collected cube. Each memento requires a certain pattern to score. Cool. I do want more details because I want to see the patterns. And you always have to build out from your northwest corner as well. Mushrooms give you unlimited power. At least that's what I've been told. Maples just get you all dizzy going sideways. Ferns, up, down, left, right. Bees are basically knights in chess. And Bigfoot, you can go wherever you want, except diagonally. Scoring 1 point for every mushroom. Player with the most mushrooms gains additional points equal to mushrooms. So by giving your opponent flexibility, you get points. 2 points for each fern when they are orthogonally connected in a group of 2 or more ferns. Okay. So maples when they're diagonally connected. Bees, 1 victory point for each unique memento that is not a bee. Alright, so bees suck. They could get 4 points per bee, but it might work out. Bigfoot, 5 points per Bigfoot. Wow. So you want to fight for those Bigfoots. Oh, except if they're immediately adjacent or they they can't be in the same row as well. Yeah, that seems fun. I think light, fun, kind of building on Cascadia-esque in terms of the scoring patterns. It's just you don't have variable patterns. I think that would be their next move, is to just like do the exact same thing as Cascadia and get variable powers. But I think, yeah, looks kind of fun. Shakes it up. Simple game. I probably want to play this at 2 players, no more for sure. And if you're interested, that finishes Thursday, September 19th at 9:11 p.m. Sweet. Let's move along, not to this one, because this one decided to do the $1 pre-pledge, which at $22,000, I certainly hope you didn't pay $10,000 for that marketing tomfoolery, because it's not a magic band-aid. It's completely not. It's just a bad practice that no one should continue to do. So we're going to move on to this Pest, Guilds of Thokaya. The expansion and the second edition join forces with the Empire and the Guilds of Thokaya. It's the real pronunciation. To delve into the heart of the plague, research its secrets and its vulnerabilities. Will you rise to the challenge and secure a future free from the shadow of the epidemic? I don't know. Probably not, but you can try. Let's see what the trailer has to offer, and then we'll talk a little bit about Pest, which has been on Kickstarter before and has fulfilled, and people have been unhappy. All right. So what I heard about Pest is that the first issue, the first edition, was plagued, no pun intended, with production issues. There were misprinted cards, token colors were wrong, and severely warped city miniatures. That's what people on my Discord who have the game were telling me, and they are fixing that. In fact, you can get a fix pack pledge for owners of the first edition, and it'll only cost you $1, who want to receive only a replacement capital city base and red player pieces. So it is nice that they're offering a fix pack that you can get essentially for free. What's less good is that there's also this upgrade pack, and this is something that you do see a lot in second editions. There's an upgraded version, there's errata, there's rules changes, there's things that make it better, and all of this is really indicative of... I'm seeing a potato is going to jump on a stack of games right now. That's a real pest over there. All this is indicative of sort of first-time publisher woes, I feel. But also a reason why waiting and not getting something as the first edition isn't a bad thing. If something's doing well, you can likely wait because there likely will be a reprint as people get it and enjoy it, and they have enough capital to do it again and see if they can sell more stuff, right? But if you wanted to get everything, it would cost you $170, which I just don't think this is worth it. Pest sees you managing the plagues of the city, and it does, this is my favorite part about it, this is the memorable part about it for me. On your own player board, you're going to pick a spot, and then you're going to do the actions where it intersects. I think Resurgence does this as well, and I like this as a mechanism because you're deciding, okay, I have an option to deviate between these two actions, and then I won't get to do those actions later again, or later on. And so I think that is fairly fun. Right, here's a picture of that descriptor. And the flow seems fun. You're going to gather people and then heal them, and to thank you for healing them, you're going to put them to work, and you're going to work them to death. They don't know that yet. They think you've healed them out of an altruistic sort of thing, but come on, you're a plague doctor. Look at that scary, spooky mask. They'll produce resources, and then you'll build back up the infrastructure of the city. Also completing endgame goals. With the guild, there's going to be another separate board that's out there where you're managing these 5 different funnels of guilds, which can give you different abilities, lets you drawing these guild cards, so they're just special one-time abilities that you can use. And then if you have the majority bonus, then you'll get bonus points, essentially. All of it does seem fun. Like, I don't think there's much to knock here. How's it been received on Board Game Geek, I wonder? If this were a retrospective, 7.5, so, you know, it's doing okay. I think it does look fun. I just don't ever want to spend $170 on this game, you know? It doesn't blow me away. I think it looks like a good, solid game. It'd probably get a 3.5 out of 5 or even a 4. You know, that would hit in that 7.5 range. But would I be itching, physically itching? Would it be gnawing inside my skin like all good diseases? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. And especially, and then after shipping, to get to me, it's going to be over $200, right? I kind of reserve that for the very special things in my life. So I suppose I'll spend that on a dinner instead. Yeah, but I think it looks fun. It's too bad that the first edition was sort of plagued with production issues, but it's doing quite well. Still not as well as they had done in the past. Let's see, how did they do in the past? Let's see. I think it was something like 500. Oh no, 331 Australian. So 217 Australian. They're almost doing a similar amount. So yeah, hopefully they have learned from their mistakes, and you can get the upgrade pack if you want to, although you will still have to pay for shipping, which, you know, would I want to pay $20 on a little fixed city base? Probably not. But 86 people have pledged for it, so there you go. If you're interested in that, that finishes on the 19th at 4 p.m. That's Thursday the 19th. We're moving on to this one, Mushroomancer, a tactical board game and deck builder card game combined into one that has 30 backers, giving it almost $3,000. I don't have any hopes for this, but we're still going to look at it. All right, so this is the board here, where you deck build to try to have a fun deck to run around and punch your opponents in the face. This person is receiving 0 profits for this first print run, just trying to get it out in the world. That's cool. 0 profits means $65. Yeah, I believe it, because they're probably making this on the cheap. Yeah, simple movement and deck building. This is kind of like Black Rose Wars Light, without the program. It only ships to the United States because they're making it local. And okay, 65 covers it. So it'd be 65, it'd be 89. I mean, you know what? Not the worst passion project to support. This actually went above my expectations, I think, because I can see the basic DNA of it. You're going to be buying stuff, and you're going to be drawing cards and then using the movement, and maybe you have a base movement stat. Maybe you don't. Can't really read the rules here, but I can read them a bit. You set up the map as well. You always just get to take one card from the bank, so there's no buying power to your deck building. You just get to grow your deck. Yeah, you play any movement, action, weapons, equipment, so you can really tank up, but then you're stuck there. I think you might have to balance it. You know what? I don't think this looks that bad. I think it could be just a nice, simple little smash them up into the world. So way to go, Mushroomancer. You did exceed my expectations. If you're interested in supporting that, that's Friday, September 20th at 1:12 p.m. Moving along to probably the thing that I'm the most excited about this week. This is Ra, the Pharoah edition reprint, and more. And I'm really torn because I don't know if I'm going to buy this. I might. I don't know. I've already looked at this. Already because I was too excited not to. Ra is fantastic. If you don't own Ra, go get a copy at your local store. The standard edition is a very good edition. My standard edition, which was like a prototype E1 or whatever, the tiles are starting to rub, starting to fade a little bit. And so I'm like, well, maybe do I buy an acrylic copy? You know, an acrylic copy, the box will be smaller. You get the acrylic tiles, they won't rub off. You also would get this Traders expansion, which I don't know how I feel about the Traders expansion. The premise of Ra is very simple. You draw a tile and add it to a common supply, or you say Ra, and you take them all to whoever bids the highest. The Traders expansion adds in these Trader tiles, and the Trader tile will give you a point for every time somebody else takes a Trader tile. So if you get a Trader tile first, then anytime somebody takes a Trader tile, you're going to get a point for that. But those go away at the end of each round. So they're not permanent, they're not like completely overpowered, and it depends when they come out as to their efficacy or not. And it's a real sort of, will you get any points with them or won't you? You could really get a lot of points with them, but you might not. I don't know if I like it that much in theory, because I like the simplicity of the base game. I like sort of the set standard calculated values of the base game, and I feel like the Traders are just really up the randomness, right? Really up the sort of push your luck aspect to it. And if that's what you want, if you want more push your luck in Ra, then go for it. I like Ra as an elegant bidding game personally, and maybe just because I've seen it play at such a like pretty high level. But yeah, I don't know, the idea of these Trader tiles, I don't know if it turns my crank that much. I think ultimately I'm going to be too cheap to get this, because after conversion and shipping, it would be like $150 US. And since I already own a copy, I don't think I can justify it. But it is like a fantastic game, and it's definitely in my top 50 games of all time. Like, I really like it. I know some people in the Discord don't like it, but I say to those people, you just don't like fun. That's what I have to say. Oh. No, Ra also can suffer too, especially like in an early play, if somebody just goes on a run. And it can happen that someone can just go on a run and someone can just kind of win, and then you're really struggling and fighting an uphill battle, and you don't get like the tension of those bids. And so it can really suffer for sure, but I like that. I like the idea, and I love drawing stuff in the bag. The Ra and Write seems awful to me. The Ra and Write feels like it shouldn't exist whatsoever. The Ra and Write is you just draw 3 cards, and then you pick one of those cards for you, and then everybody else picks 2 of those cards, and you put it on a sheet, and you're just like set collecting. Who cares? Really, a big old bucket of who cares. It does not interest me whatsoever, and I love Ra. But I think everyone should really consider getting Ra right now. Just right now. Just do it. Just do it right now. And this Ratzia is just Ra with cards. I'll admit I didn't look at the Ratzia rulebook, so I'm going to take a quick peek right now. You have your numbers, so that's how you're bidding. You draw a card, and you add it. If it's a police card, you Ra. It's just Ra with cards. Using a thief, for those are the gods, and then you can declare an auction to get all the cards in the middle. I don't need it. I've got Ra, and there's something very satisfying about the tiles versus just doing it with cards. Shipping to the US is $10. Shipping to Canada is $15. Yes, it's like $150 to get this. I think probably not. because, again, I literally own a copy that is hanging right above my head right now, and I am never giving it up. And it's just such a great game. And so just for the shelf space, I think I'm going to hold off. But it's a really good game. Highly recommend. That finishes Friday, September 20th at 10 p.m. Moving along, we've got Cyberpunk 2077, the board game. Now, I did a 5 Reasons You Shouldn't Back on this, which I think was pretty good. Someone said, you don't know anything about the game. You don't know what you're talking about. But then they also took me at face value when I said, yes, I want their funding goal to be reduced to 0. And they said, wow, this guy with his outlandish statements. Meh. I think I'll stick with all the work that I did do looking into it and talking about the stuff that excites me and the stuff that doesn't excite me, and feel pretty comfortable in my assessment. This is the real-time game. They've apparently released a solo playthrough now too. I think it's going to be better at more players. I think this development seems fun, but I don't think I want the base pledge for 110 Canadian plus shipping. Again, it's like in that 150 realm. Would much rather get Ra. Would absolutely much rather upgrade a game that is a known entity that I know and love, rather than take a chance on Cyberpunk. But I think it looks good. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it would be just a nice, fine time, but I'm not in this to play fine games anymore, especially the ones that I'm buying for my personal pleasure. I need to know that they're going to hit, or like really believe that they're going to hit, because I do not have the time to play fine games unless I'm doing it for review for some reason. But yeah, I think it looks okay. It looks a solid all right. Here's an attaboy for you, Cyberpunk 2077. So if you're interested, remember that finishes on the 20th at 3 p.m. and guaranteed there's not going to be any late pledges here. You better throw all your money down now. You'll never get another chance to get it ever. That's what I've heard. That was also a joke, in case people watching don't know. I will only allow one person in this world to not get my jokes, but that's it. Everybody else, step it up. Let's move on just quickly to the Foster the Meeple 2024 campaign. I just want to give them a shout out. Nice, they hit their goal. They raised $27,000. Way to go, Jamie and Jeff. That's great. One of these days, maybe we'll play a game together. I like Jeff and Jamie. We've interacted a few times. They're Nova Scotians, and I frequent Nova Scotia a lot. And so maybe one of these days we'll hang out and play a game. We will. But yeah, they're super nice people. I'm glad they're raising money to help build a little new studio for their place out in Nova Scotia. And so always thrilled to shout out my fellow Canadian board game content creators, and thrilled that they've already hit their goal. That's very exciting for them. So if you want to go support them, they're a fun channel. If you haven't subscribed to them, go subscribe to them, because it matters. Those numbers do matter. And they're nice people. So yeah, if you want to go support them, that finishes Sunday, September 22nd at 9:01 a.m. Moving along to The Curse of the Snake Queen, a solo fantasy game book. Armed only with a pen and 2 dice, you will embark on this epic fantasy adventure. This sounds like the thing that I played as a child. Remember, the last time this person put something out, I got really excited and I said, this sounds like the thing that I played as a child, and I think it's the same person. So that would make sense. Yeah, The Catacombs of Cardolan. Yeah. I just remember having such joy reading this one book where you just read passages, you upped your stats, you rolled dice, did stat checks. It was a friggin' blast. And so every time I see something like this, I talk about it because I remember that wonderful time as a child, sitting in the basement, just wallowing, just shaking those dice up and going on a magical adventure in my mind. You know, just sitting in a dank, dark basement where no one could see me, but I could see me, and I would just have so much fun. Just had fun all over the place. So this reminds me of that. How much are you? €12 who want to play on screen or to print out themselves. I should just do it. You know, for those who just want the book, €14, and then it ships anywhere. Yeah, if I thought I would play it, I would do it, but I probably wouldn't. However, I think this sort of thing is fun, so that's why it's getting a shout out. If you're interested in looking more into it, check it out. The finishes Monday, September 23rd at 9:33 a.m. Moving along to Call Bull, the wild game of bulls and bloofs. In a game of deceit, you must discern the truth-tellers from the liars, all while bluffing and getting rid of your own hand. Getting rid of your own hand sounds like my solo dungeon adventure. Wait, no, that's something different. Okay, it's just cheat. Ah, the old-time favorite playing card, BS. Now reimagined. Yes. It's just cheat. You just get a new pack of cards with bulls on them, and you can say, hey, I'm playing a 4, and they say cheat. It's probably along the same realm as spicy. You can also have these bull tokens where you can get additional points for calling correctly. So that's the little twist that they do on. Guru Games, $17, $24 for a deck of cards, plus shipping will be what? $5 to US? Okay, that's not bad. And then everywhere else is $16, so nope. If that interests you, feel free, check it out. That finishes Monday, September 23rd at 1 p.m. That was easy. Let's keep going to Minecart Town. Establish the most efficient Minecart Town in this 1 to 4 player tile placement game brought to you straight from Japan. I wish I was from Japan, because then I could make a joke that I'm straight from Japan, but I'm just Canadian. Quarter Lebanese, if you like that sort of thing. And if you don't, that's okay, then I'm just Canadian. And also, you're racist. Probably. Your settlers have arrived in a promising new land, searching for a prosperous safe haven. Surrounded by nothing other than raw resources, can you lead them towards developing a pleasant and profitable town? I don't know. Minecraft Town is a 1 to 4 player tile placement game where efficiency is key. Simple to learn, hard to master. Better than easy to learn, hard to master. And it's by Jelly Games? Okay, already interested. What a great... Congratulations on picking the best board game publisher name that one could ever pick. Originally inspired by Factorio and Age of Steam, all players start with nothing but a mine and a forest. What's mine is mine, but what's yours is forest. And only 4 rounds to turn this into a victory-worthy town. Now you're speaking my language. With most of the action being simultaneous, the game proceeds at a smooth pace. Decide for yourself to fully optimize your resource network. 78 types of unique tiles. Alright, each of the game's 4 rounds plays out like this. Make some resources. Boom. Construct some buildings. Boom. They also can make tracks. Bam. Because if buildings are connected by tracks, they can't transport resources. So like Keyflower. So you create your own little unique minecart network, which means buildings may be unable to process these into victory points. So it's a little bit more limited or limitations than Keyflower, but it doesn't matter because the white player can gain 11 victory points. Look at that. Okay, so you can go through different things. So you can go through buildings if they're adjacent to each other. I see. But maybe you can only go 1 building? I want to see the exact restrictions. All the rules are finished. Okay. Well, you better have a friggin' rulebook then. Okay, so to construct something usually costs you 1 resource, but then if you want to make it a nice, beautiful T to give you more variability, then it costs you more. Transportation. They can only move along railroad tracks. Adjacent building tiles must still be connected via railroad tracks to transport resource cube between each other. Oh, okay. Aha. So you really have to connect everything with a railroad. That makes the planning a little bit more interesting. But you can pass through a building to a railroad track. I see. So that can go do because it curves around. I see. Cool. And then you're just turning cubes into points. Yeah. I like that. I mean, I like Keyflower. I like the movement aspect of Keyflower, and this kind of reminds me of that a bit. $45, 62 Canadian. I would probably just rather play Keyflower, which is a bit more robust, but doesn't seem bad. Of course, shipping is going to be a lot for me. UK 15, US 25, Canada 30, right? So it's a $100 game. It doesn't do it for me for 100, as you know, a lot of things don't. A decent enough game, I think, might be cute. Good choices. I mean, my patrons have impeccable taste. They wanted me to look at this one too, so it's true. It looks fun. You don't have to get everything. Remember, though. Just because something looks fun, like really compare it against your collection and compare it against your time. That's all I'll say. Not to burst your little bubble, but you want me to burst your little bubble. That finishes Monday, September 23rd at 9:40 p.m. Oh man, I just got really stressed because Monday, September 23rd is a day I'm going to be in Vegas, and that's coming up quick. Next up, we've only got a couple more. We have Sky Painters. The colors of the world were stolen. Oh no. Unleash your magic to repaint it. Unleash your magic tales to repaint it. I've heard tell of that magic tale. Strategy Euro style board game for 2 to 4 players. Alright, seems cute. There are 3 ways to win. One is getting a full grid of 9 cards. Another is getting 5 Sky Painters, tails to touch. Just jam their little tails together and you say, look, I made a magic pinwheel, and then you win. Or have the most points. This is nice putting it on the same complexity as Sagrada or Parks, a little bit more than Azul and Splendor. I think on your turn, you can either take a card from the central board, which will have a dice requirement. You can take dice from the pool to complete your cards, but then you get to flip over, which will then be worth points. And then every completed card grants you different sorts of rewards, of resources, of tokens, where you can use them to buy sky painters. And so you could be getting the cards to buy sky painters, or just getting the cards to complete your grid, essentially. Yes, English rulebook, please. Thank you very much. You can also take a cloud token, which I don't know what that does, but apparently that's something you can do. And the cards have to match each other. They need to make sense in terms of the picture. Oh, that's cool. The colors on the card correspond to the color of dice that you'll need. So you're always going to be taking cards and trying to put dice on them, but you also then can do a bunch of different subsequent actions. You can use chips that you've collected to adjust the dice that you've placed previously. You can get these sky painters. You can get a bunch of things. So it's all these resources, bringing these resources in, pushing them out. And these cards will also be determined based upon the images that they show and share. Yeah. Seems all right. I mean, it's going to be too expensive for what I want to pay, but yeah, $83? Oof, dang. $83 Canadian and then shipping. Well, I guess that's not like, that's like 60 US. That's what everything else is. So that was probably an overreaction. But even still, it's like $110 Canadian for me. And it's just, it's really tough. It's really tough to be able to even take a chance on something like this, because there are other cheaper board games out there, you know, that do a similar thing. But if you're interested in that, that finishes Tuesday, September 24th at 3:30 a.m. And finally, we've got this one, Stargazers, one of the best pastimes to do. In this, a pass and write time game when you identify constellations in the night sky. Honestly, this would be great, because the only constellation I know is the Big Dipper and Orion's Belt, and I pretend I know the Little Dipper. I know the Little Dipper's above the Big Dipper, but I've yet to see it. But I like looking up at it anyway and saying, I know the Little Dipper's up there, pouring into the Big Dipper, and then never seeing it. Maybe I just need to spend more time stargazing. I think that's probably the solution. But let's see what this one's all about. It's a print and play game, probably. I don't know. 37 backers, raised 245. I assume it's print and play. Starlight, Starbright, first star I see tonight. Let it be part of a constellation, please. I don't want to see those friggin' lone rogue stars running around that are probably satellites. I can see those too. In Stargazers, you're trying to draw the constellations you see in the night sky. But naturally, each of you sees something different. In this play and pass game, you'll spot stars and then connect them with lines to make constellations. Each star can only be used in one constellation, so be fast to ensure your constellation uses the stars first. It's a mix of planning ahead and thinking in the moment. I see, so you're just trying to create patterns. Oh, is Orion actually an A? I always knew Orion's Belt just from Men in Black. Players will place one star, then take an action which includes drawing a constellation card for scoring, drawing another star, or protecting a star they had previously drawn. After they finish their turn, they pass their sheet to the left. Okay. Maximize position for yourself while also minimizing beneficial stars for your opponents. It seems like the goals that other people are going for is also open information, which I think is probably important. Oh, and then you're doing multiple sheets at the same time. That's kind of fun. Learn to play from the rules, yes. I think if you have multiple sheets, that is kind of fun. Players receive one game sheet and a colored markle. Markle. Yeah, a colored markle. A colored marker. That makes sense. And so you're going for all of these things at the same time. Yeah, I like that. Files for the flip and write, $4. I think if you like print and plays, I think this is also one that you should consider adding to your arsenal. That finishes Tuesday, September 24th at 8:46 a.m. Hitting this one next week. And that's my double checking. That's it. We've made it. We have made it to the end of the week. We are back here in the Nook, and we've made it here. Now, every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you, the pick for me being the thing that I'm the most interested in, and the pick for you being the thing that I think if you get, you have the least chance of being disappointed in. Let's go through a little grunt down to remind ourselves of what's going down. Yeah. I'm barren, so no. No. Nope. Absolutely not. Too expensive. Not bad. Fantastic. I mean, woo. Not at all. And yeah. So not a bad week. Really not a bad week, comparatively. Going through that, though, there's a lot of sort of middle ground mess to me. Nothing that really makes me jump up and get super excited. I mean, I think we know the pick for me. Like, the pick for me has obviously got to be Ra, because I really love Ra, and I think everybody should get themselves a copy. But I think it's a Ra tale There's a Ra pun for you. Get it at Raw Tail. Or if you're getting the Pharoah edition, it's nice that you're able to get it here, and it's only like a $10 uptick from what it was a couple years ago. So that's pretty good. I think the pick for you might end up being Minecart Town. I think that one looks fun enough. Obviously, way too expensive for what it is, realistically. The pick for you is really just play Keyflower. If you haven't played Keyflower and you're thinking about Minecart Town, play Keyflower. It's more depth and will scratch that itch of moving the stuff around. Plus, you get a worker placement aspect and a bidding aspect. Very, very good. That's what I would say. This is just like a tentative, because I just feel that everything is kind of middle ground, and I don't really want to recommend a middle ground. So I'm going to recommend Keyflower as a pick for you. The heck I will. Even though there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, yeah, I think potentially, but none of it makes me want to spend that amount of money on it. I think that's the key determining factor. But again, who knows? I'm cheap. Anyway, that's it. That is it for the week. I'm getting so much glare off of that. I gotta look you in the eyes and say thanks for being here. Well, let me know what you're up to. I like that when people are like, hey, this is what I did. I genuinely really like that. So tell me what you've been up to, some excitements, whatever. I like being around you. I like hanging out with you, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and it doesn't start with utter torment. Hopefully, this video doesn't torment you completely, but it gives you a good start to your week. And I hope you have a wonderful day. My name is Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase, but I do have a bowl full of stress to eat, because I'll see you all in Vegas. Meh. Hey, if you're coming to WSBG, let me know. And when I'm running by frantically, wave to me and say, hey, I'm so-and-so from YouTube. Go get him, Tiger, or something like that. And I'll say, no, you're the Tiger. Okay, I probably won't. I'm going to forget to say that. And then you're going to say, you told me to say, go get, you're the Tiger. And I'll go, oh, right. Oh, yeah, of course. I'll say, no, you're the Tiger. And then it'll feel lackluster because I didn't do it the first time. And then there'll be a really awkward moment. And that will be our interaction. And I can carry that awkwardness with me for the rest of my life. So yeah, if you're coming to WSBG, let me know. Anyway, I'll see y'all later.